Opportunity to meet Melissa and Jason for lunch a while back, and we listened to their story as a couple. And I remember as we were driving home, we said how wonderful and refreshing it is to see a couple who clearly understands what is important as far as being a couple. For those of you who don't know, this story began a couple of years ago in Baltimore at a little company called Under Armour. And they both worked there. Throughout the days, they would exchange glances with one another, and it wasn't until they took a course at the company called Emotional Intelligence at the company fair. You know that they pride themselves on punctuality, and of course they were the first ones there. And as they were in the room, there was some small talk, but they definitely remember how nice it was talking to one another. Ironically enough, they both ended up in the same brainstorm group called Intentions. And Jason stated how great it was that he was able to open up so easily to Melissa. I love asking couples, what are your first impressions when you just met? And this is what Melissa said. She says, I remember Jason being so easy to talk to. He was athletic, handsome, and fun to be with. Although I remember the feeling of him being very passionate, and that was very comforting to me. And Jason said his first impressions were, Melissa was very carefree, and it helped me that she was so open. I thought she was beautiful, and she was very fun. And from that first moment, I remember thinking how complimentary we were of one another. And that in-service led to many more conversations at the office. They talked about many things, including volleyball, and they agreed that they would play with one another in a co-ed league. And Jason was at this game, and here it is, the big game time, and Melissa was nowhere to be found, and like an angel, she came running down, and she played on the team. Jason was extremely impressed with her volleyball skills, but more than that, he was extremely impressed with her because they had so much fun. And from that moment, that led to sneaking out of work early for happy hours. They spent a lot of time at the driving range, their sushi dinners, and there was a work Cinco de Mayo party that really changed everything. And that's when they became boyfriend and girlfriend. And as they were dating for a year, I also love asking couples, what do you remember about that first year in your relationship? And this is what Melissa had said. She says, Jason is so attentive, and he is truly a great person. I love that our friendship bond is so great. He is loving and he takes care of me. I genuinely love spending every moment with him. And not surprisingly, Jason's words were very similar. He says that Melissa is so caring. In that first year, I thought she's not only caring with me, but with everyone. And that is something I aspire to be like, and it inspires me. She is so smart and so loving, and we have such a great time with one another. People often ask me, what does it take to make a relationship so successful? And this is something that we talked about. Because at the core of any relationship, you have to have two things, whether it's the relationship with your brother, your coworkers, your family and friends, but it's especially true for husband and wife. You have to have trust, and you have to have communication. And when I talk about the simplicity and the wholeness of your relationship, it's true that you have built this relationship on trust and communication. That trust started a couple of years ago from your first glances in Baltimore to this moment and absolutely everything in between. And here's the great news. When you love somebody and you know you found the right person, the trust is absolutely easy. But I also love that you love to talk with one another. And not only do you enjoy talking, but you enjoy listening to each other, whether it's a long day at work or hearing a silly story. And I think that is a highlight of the two of you. Trust and communication, it comes from experiences, but it also comes from everyday life. And I love asking couples, what are some of the best experiences you had? And you talk about how you use Yelp to find that great restaurant, to find that great park, to go for a hike, to take a road trip to Santa Barbara or take that road trip to Malibu. But what struck me about the two of you is that you guys loved the little things. And for those of us who are married, you know that the little things are really the big things. Things like forming a bond with each other's parents and treating grandpa like a prince. Making your partner mac and cheese and chicken tenders when she's feeling under the weather. Nuzzling up to your man during a scary movie. Not being afraid to apologize. Getting that excited feeling seeing the person you love, whether it's on Skype or in person. Not afraid to battle traffic because you know you're together to find some great sushi. You love the fact that you hold hands during the hike. You also love the fact when you talk about your future, you get excited about the thought of having more responsibilities. With everything you have made it perfectly clear that everyday life is what's most important to the two of you.